Thanks for staying with us here on TVC Breakfast. It's now time to take a look at stories making headlines on Nigerian newspapers. And I have joining me here in the studio public affairs analyst Abayomi Okeashiwaju. Good to see you.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. And via Zoom is a chartered mediator and conciliator, Chris Kende Wado. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Right, quickly, let's race into what the newspaper is reporting this morning. Leadership newspaper is the first. Boko Haram and Saro terrorist now in Kaduna. El-Rufai cries out. This Nigeria, El-Rufai raises the alarm. Boko Haram, ISWAP plan to hit Kaduna, says insurgents relocating from northeast to northwest. Federal government, unknown gunmen in southeast are terrorists. That's this Nigeria. Blueprint is next. Boko Haram and Saro abandoned Sambisa for Kaduna Forest. Governor El-Rufai is saying that and proposes demolition of 3 communities on Kaduna-Abuja Highway. Laments serious calamities in northwest than northeast. Seeks recruitment of more vigilantes. Resumption of flights at Kaduna Airport. This day is next. Obasanjo, Nigeria's inability to contain insecurity a choice by her leaders, says current period unlike any other in country's history. Terrorists killed 360, abducted 131,389 in 3 months in Kaduna, according to reports. Nigerian Tribune is next. Primaries, APC, PDP in states quake. Aspirants adamant over zoning arrangements. Rumpers over delegate list. Obaseki, Obi, Cams field over different court orders. And aspirants protest in Benue, Plateau, Ogun, Ondo, Kaduna as uncertainty in Anambra APC. The Guardian newspaper is next. Aspirants lobby intensifies in APC, PDP 1 week to primaries. Move to adopt Udom as PDP consensus candidate builds up. Wike blast Atiku, other aspirants for betraying PDP in 2015. That's the Guardian newspaper. The Punch newspaper is next. Presidential primaries, uncertainty over APC, PDP delegate list as President Buhari delays electoral act. Nobody has exact number of delegates for presidential primary, VONDG, and APC begs INEC for extension. Oshimbajo team denies hotel plan for delegates. Well, the intrigues are going on. Daily Sun is next. President Buhari unsettles APC aspirants. President's silence, non-show of preference so far leave contenders in quandary. And fears of consensus option heighten. That's Daily Sun there. The next is the Nation newspaper. Pressure on APC governors over tickets for senators, reps. Intrigues threaten pact in some states. That's the Nation newspaper. And above the nameplate of the Nation newspaper, we've got Tinubu to Bauchi delegates. With you, I will win. And Salami panel's report on Magu stalled 2 years after. Now, Daily Trust is next. Presidential ambition. Wike, Fayemi, Tambuwal, 6 other governors squander millions on private jets. Presidential ambition, Wike, Fayemi, Tambuwal, 6 other governors squander millions on private jets. News Direct is next. Osun Guba 2022. I have no money to buy private jets or votes. That's Governor Oyetola. I have no money to buy private jets or votes. Daily Times next. Unknown gunmen in southeast are terrorists. That's according to the federal government. Says Magu not yet free from prosecution. Daily Times, sir. First News is next. Promotion. Magu can still be prosecuted after retirement. That's according to Minister. First News. Business Day is the penultimate paper that I have here with me. Private to public hospitals. How patients cut post-procedure costs. How patients cut post-procedure costs. Finally is the national economy. Nigeria's economy loses 1 trillion naira annually over absence of port automation. And the writers read, single window platform elusive as government agencies engage in rivalry. Physical clearance process breeds corruption. Physical clearance process, rather, breeds corruption. That's according to stakeholders on the National Economy newspaper. Now let's get into the papers, what they're reporting. CKN, I'd like to start with you, and I'll take Blueprint as a first here. Boko Haram and Soro abandoned Sambisa for Kaduna Forest. That's according to Governor El-Rufai when they were giving an update on the report in Kaduna, saying that the terrorists said that Sambisa Forest is not as lovely as that of Kaduna. They are now finding Kaduna Forest very enticing to them.
Yes, good morning once again. Thanks for having me. That report can only mean one thing, and that is that the military seems to be giving the terrorists a run for their money. Don't forget that in the past few months, the military have intensified their onslaught on land and on air against the terrorists in Sambisa Forest, which to a large extent, when we hear Sambisa Forest, people just think that it's just a forest, just domiciled within a particular. The Sambisa Forest, from what I've heard, stretches from Nigeria to as far as Kenya. That is how big and how large that forest is. So it's not just a normal forest that you have. So, but in the past, the terrorists have been having an upper hand and have been shielded from attack for so many reasons. But with the military might that we have, especially in the air, with the combination of the Army and the Air Force, it's obvious that our military are now doing what they're supposed to do and are trying to make sure that they clear the Sambisa Forest of these terrorists. And of course, when you clear such, definitely they are human beings, they have to migrate to somewhere. And from the report coming in and by the statement accredited to the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, it's obvious that they are moving to Kaduna, and I wouldn't know the reason for that. Probably there's another forest there. There's a bet. That information being released by the governor should be directed and sent to the military, and I'm sure that military have it, and they know what to do. Kaduna has become a bedrock of insecurity in the past few months. Don't forget, there was an attack at the Kaduna International Airport. There was also an attack on the train plying Abuja-Kaduna, and the Kaduna-Abuja Express have become a death trap where bandits, terrorists, kidnappers always have a field day. So this is the high time for our military authorities to change their strategy. I'll be looking more of intel rather than just the brute approach. The military know what to do, but there should be more of intelligence gathering so that we can be able to find out where exactly they are amassing and know how to strategically deal with the situation. But this is a one that has been foretold, and I hope our military are equal to the task as it were.
Right, about me, Kaduna is where we have very, our armories actually there. So if these guys are daring Kaduna with the, news that we are that we're hearing from that particular state, these guys are not afraid of anything.
And you see, my concern here is that before today, the Niger State governor had earlier raised an alarm that it appears these people are now migrating from the northeast to the northwest. And I think that alone should have, spurred a proactive measure from the state governors within that region. More troubling is the fact that Kaduna State Governor, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, had also in recent times, projected to the world that he has credible information, intelligence report as to the operations of these insurgents. And one will wonder, if you are privileged to have such information, what have you done with such? Have you been able to, convert that to taking proactive steps in averting any form of breakdown of law and order or any form of insecurity? These are the questions that are begging for answers. And we just hope that Governor Nasir El-Rufai will be able to provide these answers. Another thing is, one would have thought that it's not a place like Kaduna, where probably I should use the word star boy, Malam Nasir El-Rufai is governing, would now become a place where, you know,
a hotbed for criminality.
Honestly, I can't fathom why, because he has shown in the past that he knows how to address insecurity challenges. Even before he became the governor in 2015, I could remember with the issue of the Chibok girls, how he, you know, of course, criticized the then president, Goodluck Jonathan, on how he was unable to combat all this and all that. So I just believe that the governor should, at this point in time, of course, also show leadership, that now that he's at the helms of affair, he can actually, you know, address some of these challenges. And of course, people will give it to him that it's not just enough to cry foul when you are not in the corridors of power. You can also demonstrate, you know, solutions. You can give solutions when you get to the seat of power.
But what can a governor do? Because they say that they're just in charge of their security, the chief security officer, in paper, but not in reality. The commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
Honestly, I do not even agree. I do not even agree with that position all this while when people say that governors cannot do anything. Okay, if you are regarded as the chief security officer of your state, there is a certain level of trust, or there is a certain level of responsibility entrusted in you, and you must demonstrate it. More so, Governor El-Rufai, if he needs support from the presidency, I'm not sure he will not get it, you know, just a snap, because we understand how close he is to the president. When I say the president, including the president and everyone around the president. So it shouldn't be a difficult thing for somebody like Governor El-Rufai to seek support where it is needed, and of course if it is needed, so that his people that is governing can have a safe place.
All right, Sikian, well, it often defies logic each time, you know, based on what Abayomi said, that your affinity with the commander-in-chief of the armed forces should allow you to be able to fight corruption to a standstill. Why is it that when we see them as, oh, they're cronies, they're friends, they're father and son and all that, it doesn't appear in reality in terms of fighting insecurity?
It goes beyond that. Yeah, I've listened to my brother, but it goes just beyond what he's saying. Yes, the fact remains that the armed forces are duly under the power of the president. It's only the president that can deploy the army, that can deploy the air force, that can deploy the navy to a large extent. That of the police, probably the Inspector General of Police. None of them under the power of the governor. So the governor can only do what he can by informing the president or the relevant authorities, and it is within their people and to be able to take action. So it goes beyond just the governors. And let's take it a bit back. Kaduna is asking, my colleague is asking about Kaduna. Why is Kaduna? We have to understand the political and social economic life of Kaduna. Kaduna is a bit polarized, as it were. It has been an ongoing war between some elements in Kaduna and that of southern Kaduna, and where you don't have a cohesive integration and there's division within a state, that in itself is the breeding ground for for insecurity. A lot of people have been killed in southern Kaduna. There have been skirmishes, there have been attacks. So first and foremost is what we do is, first of all, to win the confidence of the people, to be able to, that was why I was talking about intel. If you don't win the confidence of the people to give you the necessary information, then that you're going to just blinking. It's just like a man blinking in the dark to a beautiful woman. You are the one doing what you're doing. She doesn't know what you're doing. That is one. Two, Kaduna is supposed to be well fortified. Kaduna has the highest number of military establishments in the country. That is where you have the first deal. That is where you have the NDA. There are so many other military formation in Kaduna. So I expected that Kaduna should be more fortified than most other parts of the country. Don't forget also that there was an attack at the NDA of recent, that's a military formation. There have been so many other attacks of military formation in Kaduna. So it just goes beyond the governor. But I agree with you that there's still some things that governors can do. And we can take a clue for what is happening in the Southwest. The Southwest, present as it were, is one of the most relatively safest region in Nigeria. And the reason for that has been alluded to the fact that we have the Amoteku security in this part of the island. That is what we're talking about, community policing, state policing and rest of them. There was a report that was made and was, I think they handed over to the federal government on the need for us to have a second look at community police and state policing. Those are areas that I personally thought that our National Assembly would have looked at. But what we're interested in, the electoral act, we are interested of so many other things, but leaving the backdrop of what they're supposed to do with that issue of state police. If we can have state policing, it will go a whole long way in helping in solving some of these problems. The first thing remains that most of the governors are already the ones funding the police. Go and check out how much they budget every year for policing. So I believe it goes just beyond just the governor. There's a lot that needs to be done, and this information being by the governor should be looked into as quickly as possible.
Right, Abayomi, you know, Governor El-Rufai seems to have seen a lot of things that we Nigerians, ordinary Nigerians, we are not privy to. That was why that could be one of the reasons he said that it would hire mercenaries if the federal government is not doing enough to stem the tide of insecurity in the state. And of all places, Kaduna should be a no-go area for any terrorists, for any criminals. So do you think mulling the idea of mercenaries to fight insecurity in that state, at least according to what he said, you know, you said being a chief security officer of a state should be seen in reality. So do you think bringing in mercenaries would be fine?
You see, anything that is legitimate and legal can be deployed to tackle insecurity, because of course the primary responsibility of any government is to provide security and welfare for its citizenry. So if you are now in government and your people are not safe, then I wonder what you're still doing there. So if hiring mercenaries and of course seeking help, like I said earlier on, you know, from even international organizations or international countries, or you know, let him do so that his people will be safe. It is when his people are safe that he can call himself a CSO or even a governor of that state. So if his people are not safe, there's no reason for anyone to pride himself as the presiding officer of a particular place, either a state or country. So I would rather encourage him to please use every available means, as long as it's legitimate, as long as it's constitutional and then legal. Why not? Let your people be safe.
Why not, if not, as they do say. CKN, Daily Times, the federal government is saying that unknown gunmen in Southeast are terrorists. What do you make of that?
That unknown government did what?
Unknown gunmen in Southeast are terrorists. That's the federal government saying that.
Well, if they are terrorists, they should be declared as such. After all, Boko Haram has been declared a terrorist group, and a court of competent jurisdiction has ruled on that. So if the government find out that and feel that the unknown gunmen are terrorists, they should be declared as such. But for me, I've always said that we should always look at the roots of most of these problems, rather than just trying to solve a solution from the top. What are the reasons for the unknown gun? Without aid, without supporting whatever anybody, all acts of criminality should be condemned by all as sundry. But let us look at it also from the point of where this is coming from. Over the years, there has been the issue of marginalization in the Southeast. Even as we head towards 2023, a lot of the people from the Southwest have been saying that it is high time that we should have a sense of belonging. That after the civil war in 1970 or thereabout, that no single person from the Southeast have been able to become the president of Nigeria. That to the largest extent to them is marginalization. And they feel that the other parts have had the other South, Southwest, North, everybody has had a go at the presidency. But the South is nobody. One, to me, as an Igbo man and somebody from the Southeast, that shows that you are trying to say that these people are not part of the system. These people are not part of Nigeria. These people don't have the capacity to be able to be president of Nigeria. Or these people cannot be trusted. And with that kind of discharge, it becomes very difficult for each people to persuade some young Easterners who, in fact, most of them didn't even see the Civil War. And but they just catch on what they are hearing and what they are seeing. So for me, the first start is issue of equity and fair play. There should be some kind of equity. Igbos and Southeasterners must be seen as Nigerians first and foremost. and must be given a sense of belonging so that they can see themselves as part of this nation called Nigeria. That in itself, for me, that notwithstanding, that I totally condemn the activities of unknown gunmen. And it is within the government using the security apparatus to be able to fish out any person that involved himself with them. Look at the news that came out yesterday. IPOB allegedly gave a directive that a crusade that is going to be held in Southeast must not hold by one of the top pastors in Nigeria. That should be investigated. What is the reason why they are giving that? Are we at the security agencies making sure that this can be nipped in the bud? Don't forget that also the DSS came out about a few weeks ago to say that there have been attempts to bomb some part of the Southeast. So for me, the security agencies should do what they need to do. I know that they can be able to fish out all these so-called unknown government. The governors have condemned it, and the governors of the Southeast have condemned it, and have said that everybody involved should be arrested and treated as one. And I am for that.
Right. Unknown gunmen, unknown men, as they say in street language. And then if you're agitating for something that we have been marginalized and all that, and you want to vent your anger, and the anger is for you to burn your father's house because you want to fight your enemy, and you say, come fight me in my father's house, you're already a loser. So what do you make of all of this? Who are the faces behind these masks?
One, let me start by aligning my thoughts with that of Siki, and that perpetual injustice and discharge of when you are not fair to some certain set of people may of course spur them to do otherwise and begin to perpetrate some form of crime and all that. Nevertheless, we are also saying so. Whereas we expect that government should have actually address issues before they snowball into a very, very bigger issue. So, but let's leave that aside. Now, these people, we cannot shy away from the fact that or the orientation that some people have given to them is making them to act in this awkward way. And can we identify some of these leader of thought or opinion leaders that have certain level of control that can influence the thinking pattern of some of these young people, and also use them to now change that orientation? I hope it will not be late. And I also hope that very, very good persons in this country will also begin to serve as quality role models to the young ones, so that these young ones that are probably in their teen years now will also not be looking forward to say, okay, one day I also want to be like this my elder brother who is agitating, who you think is actually agitating, but of course not doing it the right way. So we need to begin to work on the orientation of the younger folks too, so that they will not grow up to become what their the elderly ones have now become. So I think there must be an attitude reorientation, for these people over there, so that all this can be nipped in the bud, and we won't begin to talk about this in the subsequent years to come. All
right, before we go, let's quickly look at these political matters in Daily Sun, where President Buhari unsettles APC aspirants and President silence non-show of preference so far leave contenders in quandary, and fears of consensus option heighten. What do you make to this, very quickly?
I think we are used to the president determining who will probably replace them after they are through with their tenure, and that's why people are so hopeful that it will be the president that will determine who will become his successor. I think we should just leave this open, since we are running a democratic system of government. Let everybody go to the polls, the primary, the intra-party activities. Let us get involved in it, converse, talk to the delegates. We've seen some of the presidential aspirants doing that. So why are you expecting that the president will just wake up one day and say, okay, this is my anointed candidate, and everyone should follow suit? Though, like I said, because it has become a trend, that is why people are being skeptical about the president's silence on this issue, that we don't even know the body language of this man. Of course, it played out during the APC convention too. Nobody would have thought that the man who emerged would actually emerge, but politics, they say, sometimes comes with its own form of intrigues and all that. So, but nevertheless, let people continue canvassing for votes, talk to the delegates, and let's see how it plays out.
All right, CKN, the Punch newspaper says presidential primaries, uncertainty over APC, PDP delegates lists as President Buhari delays Electoral Act. And nobody, according to VONDG, nobody has exact number of delegates for presidential primary. What do you make of all of this, back and forth and, permutations and all that?
Yes, quickly just a thought on the issue of Buhari. Don't forget that the president in 2015 said that it belongs to everybody and nobody. But that he had contradicted that a few months ago when he also said that he has a preferred candidate in the APC who will succeed him. But he's not going to mention the person's name because he may be killed. So the president cannot be said to be totally neutral. He knows who he wants. Of course, every president and leader will be interested in the person that will succeed him because, one, to be able to continue with whatever he has done, and also to be able to lay some kind of credence to his project. So the president, you can be rest assured that before the primaries next week, the president may come out. He might not come out directly to say it, but through his actions and deeds, may finally put paid to whom he is supporting out of the over 20 presidential candidates of the APC. So the president already said it, that he has a candidate. It was on live television, he said it, so, and I believe him. So he's just giving it to his chest to bring out, to spring a surprise a few days or a few hours before this thing. Then back to the delegate list. It's quite unfortunate that few days to the primaries of all the political parties, the two major parties is still the darling of delegates and who was not. But I believe they have their delegates list. Don't forget, these are political parties. APC has been around for some time. PDP has been around since 1999. And don't forget that a few months ago, they also updated their what do you call it now? Their register, and so many other people register. So they have in each. The delegate start from the ward to the state and to the federal. So they have those. It is already known. They might not know the name, but we know the number of delegates. Is already in social media. If you Google, you will see the number. Those that will vote at the APC Congress, and also those that also vote at the primaries of the PDP. So it is no bet. What is happening now that every candidate or aspirants as we are jotting for that list. And what we are hearing is that so far from what our investigation has shown, none of the candidates have enough delegates that they call their own to be able to clinch that final ticket as presidential aspirant. What I see happening is few hours before the decision, most of those aspirants are going to step down. That is when we're going to separate the pretenders from the contenders. The pretenders will not join other forces, some other candidates, and we'll have a clearer picture. But for me, you remember also that I read a report that one of the political parties is asking for an extension. The INEC has come as that date is sacrosanct, and I think we should get this done and move on.
Right, CKN, well, let's custom with this. I just wanted to react briefly to the Daily Trust. Presidential ambition, Wike, Fayemi, Tambuwal, 6 other governors squander millions of private jets, while Governor Itola says that I have no money to buy private jets or votes. What do you make of this?
Sometimes some of these people's actions negate some of their speeches. When you hear people say there's paucity of funds to carry out social infrastructure to develop their state and to chase poverty out of the country, and you now see them spend lavishly on very, very expensive things, luxurious lifestyles and all that. So you now wonder, even if you have the intention of helping them, I don't know, if probably some international donors are thinking of, let's see how we can help Nigeria, and they now see the way, we spend what we claim to say is not even enough. They wonder if, do these people, do they really need help? Or probably we should just divert this help to some other countries that have shown indeed in their actions that truly, they truly need our help. So I wonder why this show of, lavishness and all that on frivolities and Well, we only hope that our mindset, our orientation will change one day, and we will do the needful.
All right, no problem. We'll see. We'll continue to do the needful as much as we can. The public affairs analyst Abayomi Okeashiwaju, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
And also, via Zoom has been a chartered mediator and conciliator, Chris Kende Wando. Thank you so much.
Thank God it's Friday. You have a wonderful weekend ahead.
TGIF.